Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Waisha. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. Today I am comparing the Nama J2 juicer with an Amazon juicer that I found online. The goal is to see if we could find a juicer that is inexpensive that could compare to the Nama J2 juicer. So for those of you out there who wants to get the juicing benefits but don't want to pay 550 bucks, let's see if we could find some alternatives on the market that would be just as good so that we can all get those juicing benefits. So this is a brand that I found on Amazon. I believe it was a bestseller at the time that I bought it. It's a cannoli, I think it's called cannoli. I will leave a link in the description below if you're interested to check it out. But my intent was to try to find another juicer that was inexpensive, preferably $100 or less, that had kind of a hopper feel to it, and then also something that is masticating, because I love the quality of juice that I get from the masticate on the Nama juicer, and I wanted to see if we can get something similar. So this is what we have so far, and let's get into the comparison. Now before I start juicing, I want to also break down each component so that you guys can see how they're alike, how they're different, and then also get a feel for what it may take to clean them up, for example. And then after that, we're going to get to juicing and compare the amount of juice that comes from one or the other, the noise, all of the things. So if you're excited, stick around and let's get started. Okay, so now we're going to break down each component of the juicers, and we're going to start with the Nama J2. So this is giving us an idea of what it takes to kind of set it up, what it takes to clean it, and we'll just compare the two. Okay, so let's start with the Nama. So first I'm going to take off the hopper, which is very convenient because you could easily take off the top as well, which is really nice when it comes to cleaning it. The hopper automatically has a bladeless slicer. Let's call it slicer. A bladeless slicer that is embedded in the hopper, which is really convenient. I don't know if you guys are able to see it, but it's really nice, and cleanup is easy here as well. Usually I rinse it and it's very easy to kind of soap it and clean it. So next we have the ball. I love the names I'm giving these things. The ball. It has the ball, and this is basically what is squeezing all of the juice out of the fruits and veggies, right? It is doing it because it has this little piece here, which I'm going to set this down. So what this essentially does is it squeezes out the juice through this filter, right? Which is also something you could separate as well. You see? Now, when I ordered my Nama, it came with two of these. This one, I believe, has a smaller filter, which removes, I believe, most of the particles. And then there's another one that has bigger filter holes. And this is simply to stir the juice. So this is what we normally see when we're looking at the mixture, and you know, it's mixing up all of the juices. And then lastly, you have this part here, which is where we release the juices, and then this part as well, which kind of spits out the pulp, right? You're able to open it, clean it. It's very convenient actually. Usually I just find myself wiping it, cleaning this side out is pretty easy. It's fairly simple. So I liked how it's essentially very compartmentalized, and it's quite easy to put together, you know. But for some people it could be overwhelming because it's like, ooh, those are kind of a lot of parts, right? But I feel like a lot of parts is what actually makes it a little bit more easier from my perspective of cleaning them, right? So to putting it together, I'll start with this, and then I will grab this. I'll make sure that I put this, I really need to get the names of these things, but for the lack of words, we're going to say the juice extractor inside of this, and it snaps in pretty nicely. It will fit perfectly right here. So then we get the ball. And then we put the nice little ball in here. Usually I like to spin it around and wait till I hear a snap. So for example, there we go. And then lastly, I will put on the hopper on the top, and then put this on. and snap it right on. And just like that, you have a juicer. Now, one thing I like about the Nama, and we'll see if this has something similar, but if there's a piece that is off-centered or not where it's supposed to be, the Nama would not start, right? So if I take off this top here, right, and I try to turn on the juicer, nothing will happen. But as soon as you put this top on, and the juicer's still on, by the way, once all the pieces are together, you will notice it will start again. So that's one thing I really do like about the Nama J2. Even if I didn't properly place the pieces in here together the right way, it will not start until everything is in the right spot. So I'm gonna move this aside to make more room for, I'm gonna call this the Amazon juicer for now. I think the brand is Cannoli, but again, I'll have the link in the description. But yeah, so this Amazon juicer, it came with 2 catchers. It also came with a little press, and this one did as well. It's just somewhere in my kitchen somewhere, but you know, this kind of helps, you know, push down the fruits and veggies if need be. They all come with a brush too, like a brush to help clean the, for the lack of words, the extractor. And if anyone knows what the real words is, please let me know in the comments below, because your girl is just freeballing it. But y'all know what I'm saying. We here, you know. We are here. Okay, so all right, so we have those, and then from this, it's pretty simple. I believe this came apart. Yep. So similar to the Nama, you take it apart, but what makes them different is that the extractor is attached to the bottom part here, and it looks like, I don't know if I'm able to take it off. Oh, can I take it off? If so, oh, you could take it off. Ignore everything that I said beforehand. So you can take this off and clean it, but it's nice to know. And it actually makes this easier to clean too, because now you have this whole open bottom to do the scrubbing, you know. So that's really nice. And it's nice to know that you could take this off and clean it as well. Okay, so let's put this back together. And then there's also a little piece in here where I guess, like, say you put an apple in there, it would just, you know, knock it in there. So we have that part, and then we have, oh, this is on there. Hold on. Can I take it off? I know I put it on there, didn't I? Hello. So yeah, so we have this, right? Now the main concern for me was seeing if I could take out the cutter. So this is what's basically chopping up the fruits and vegetables, similar to the ball in the Nama, except for it's attached to this system here. So you won't be able to take it out, so that will make cleaning a little bit more complex. You'll just have to work around what we have here. You'll have to work around the ball, but other than that, it doesn't seem complex. It doesn't seem too complex. So let's actually see it in action. Let's see what we're working with. So I wanted to start off with something simple. I'm going to simply put 1 apple in each juicer, see the time it takes to juice that 1 apple, and then also get an idea for the amount of juice that comes out of it. And my intent is to try to pick an apple that's roughly the same size, so I'll show you guys once I pick it out, and then we'll see, you know, if we're able to use this as a good replacement for the Nama. Okay, so I have my 2 mason jars and I have my 2 apples. Now it was difficult to find an apple that was close in size, so these 2 would have to do. So we're not going to necessarily compare the amount of drink unless it's a huge difference. That's something we'll keep in mind. I'll also be checking the pulp too to see which one dries out the pulp a bit more, which means that it's yielding more fruit out of the apple. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to put the apple in here. We're not going to cut it. And we're going to drop the apple in here. Okay, you guys ready? Let's try to turn it on at the same time to see how soon or how fast it could juice the apple. Now I'm going to keep these closed as well to see how quickly does these fill up. So we know that the Nama is most likely not going to fill up based on 1 apple, but with this being a pretty small juicer, let's just see how much juice it could hold before we'll need to pull this out to release the juice. Okay, and let's go. Okay, so automatically quickly. You see the Nama is devouring this apple. Oh, but when this gets into it, okay, so this one is pretty noisy. I thought my Nama was noisy, but this will have a run for my money. This bad boy is noisy. Okay, so what we're gonna do is first we're gonna let the juice pour, see if there's a difference between the looks of the juice, how it's extracted. Okay. Nice. We'll do a little tilt-a-roo. Get as much out of there. So this is what we ended up getting from the one apple from the Nama. Now let's do this one. Let's pull this out. Oh, I like the way it pours. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing, do a little tilt, see if there's any extra juice that we can get from here. This is the difference between the juices. Okay, so the one that we have on the left is the Nama, and this one is the Amazon juicer. So as we can see, they both did a really good job at extracting the juices. We got roughly the same amount for each apple, so that's really good. Let's see. This one I noticed was interesting because this almost has more of a translucent look to it versus this one that has more of a deep color to it. I'm not sure why. Let's check out the difference of the pulp. Okay, so from the Nama, what we have here is this pulp. As you can see, it's really dry. Barely any juice. Very pressed. Which is pretty nice. Let's check out this here. Okay, this is the pulp from the Amazon juicer. Oh, see, this is exciting. So the pulp here is also pretty dry, which is a really good indicator that it's getting all of those juices out. So that's exciting. That's really good to see. So now that we see that both of these juicers handle apple fairly well, actually, it's actually really nice to know that there is something on the market that does extract most of the juices, and especially getting the pulp dry enough to where we know that we're getting the most juice out of our fruits and veggies. So now I wanted to do a test by juicing pineapple in the both of them, because pineapple is known to cause a lot of foam, right? So I want to see the difference and if this Amazon juicer is able to handle the foam despite the smaller size. If so, this could be a really, really good juicer to add to your arsenal if you want to save a couple of bucks, but also get some quality juice. Okay, so I'm going to cut this up and then come right back, and then we're going to get to juicing. We'll start off with 3 chunks. So we're going to put this in here. I'm honestly wondering what, the point is of this, the dumper thingy. So we got 4, but I wonder would that be enough to see the foam. Let's add it 5. But we're going to do 5 chunks instead. So we're going to add 2 more. Okay. And then similarly for the Nama, we're going to add 5 chunks. 1, 2, 5 chunks. So this I find interesting as well, because usually if something, for example here, there's a piece of pineapple that's on the bladeless blade, I could just put my hand in there, move it, and then get it to juicing again. With this one, there's a piece of pineapple that's stuck on the side, and there is a little difficulty because I'll have to maneuver around this drop to actually get to it. So with this, I would recommend probably having some kind of butter knife or something to move things around and make things unstuck. But for now, I think we have our juice, so we're gonna stop. Oh, look at this. Oh, that looks delicious. Okay, looks good. Okay, so the juices look fairly similar. Again, I noticed that this one has a little bit more of a translucent look to it, whereas the Nama juicer does have a bit more depth to the color of the juice. But either way, this is interesting because they both have roughly the same amount of foam inside of the jar. So let's take a quick look at the foam that is left inside of the juicer. Okay, so this is what the foam looks like so far inside of this juicer. So we see that there's a little foaming action here. Yeah, so that's not too bad. Not too bad. I feel like this is pretty much on average what you should expect when you are juicing pineapple. All right, so with the Nama, you could definitely see the foaming action here. Viewing the inside of the Nama, and this is a good idea too, because now you guys can see like what cleanup may look like after juicing. So here you will simply remove the ball. So this one actually came out pretty clean. So there's not much of the pineapple stuck here. This is essentially what squeezed the juices into the walls of the extractor. Now let's pull out both to see if we get a better picture of the foam inside. Okay, that's not bad. So it looks fairly similar to the Amazon juicer. So that's not bad. Okay, so I want to say they're about head and head in terms of foam. Okay, so I'm really impressed with this juicer here. So what I'm going to do is a quick taste test, and then I'll kind of give a brief summary about my findings with the Amazon juicer versus the Nama, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's go ahead and get to tasting. I feel like I'm going to start with the Nama because that's something I'm used to. So I kind of already, kind of know what to expect when it comes to Nama. So let's just try it. I love it. Y'all see I almost guzzled that. I almost guzzled that because I love pineapple juice. I love it. So as always, the juice is very rich, it's very full, it's very sweet. All of the things, it's really good. So now that I have that in my taste buds, let's see if this tastes the same. And if so, we may have found a winner on the first try. Kudos to you. Okay, so let's give it a try. Yeah, this is good. I don't have any complaints, personally. I feel like this did a really good job. At extracting the juices. It's much more inexpensive. I feel like this is about, what, 5 times the cost of this one, but you get a relatively good result. Now, I would say the juices does feel a bit more potent or prevalent in the Nama, but this is not far off. I would almost say you could barely notice the difference, if I'm honest. So I think that's a good trade-off. I think it's a good option. Now, the only downsides that I would say is that this hopper is much smaller. Cleanup may be a little bit more of a headache with, this involved. And it's very noisy. I thought the Nama J2 was noisy. I would never complain about her again. This one takes the cake. So if you could deal with the noise and you could deal with, the smaller hopper, I think this is a really good bang for your buck. That way you're able to get some real good quality juices without spending a fortune, So I'm content with this. I think this is good. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share the love. I would truly appreciate it. And if you have any other recommendations of juicers that you want to see me compare to the Nama J2, let me know in the comments below and you may see a future video. Alright, I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care of yourself. Peace and love.